Okay, let's move on to practice number 2, which is a lovely tie-in to what Mary Kay was talking about earlier. Practice number 2, perform an act of kindness. Be random or anonymous if possible. That makes it more fun. So what do we mean by an act of kindness and why? Well, the cool thing about doing kind things for other people is that when we reach out to someone else and give them a hand, we are actually simultaneously giving ourselves one. And I'm not saying we're being selfish or anything like that, but why do you volunteer? Think about that. Why do you volunteer? You volunteer because whenever you do, you're doing this for yourself. You get to go, you know, I'm a good person. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice gal. Darn it, people like me. Or at least I like me, right? And that's what's really important. Perform an act of kindness. And what Mary Kay was referring to in her remarks about volunteerism was about intentionally tying in to that part of us that loves to engage in altruism. We like to make a difference in other people's lives. And again, because it also helps us. It also helps us. So, how many of you do engage in some kind of volunteer activity already somewhere in your life? Let me see a show of hands. See, again, this isn't necessarily a gargantuan leap, is it? Sometimes, though, it's helpful to consider how you're doing it, or, you know, to what extent you are putting yourself out there. Sometimes we're giving of ourselves, we're volunteering our time because someone came up to us at a meeting and said, will you? And our boundaries are really weak and we don't know how to say no. So suddenly we're doing it. And we're doing it for like 16 or 17 organizations. And we're like, we're volunteering, but not really having fun at it. So consider whether or not and how you are engaging in acts for others that actually are things that you believe in. Stuff that, you know, line up with your core values, that allow you to practice what you say is important to you, that allow you to actually make a difference in the lives of other people. I mean, it's okay to have a little conscription event going on every once in a while, but if all your volunteer work was by conscription, it probably isn't filling you up very much. And also keep in mind that volunteering doesn't have to be a big thing. Performing acts of kindness don't have to be a big thing. I mean, an act of kindness can be something as simple as smiling at someone who looks down and just sharing a little bit of a lift with them. So, I have a story to tell you about a client I worked with once. And could I use someone up here for visual aid, someone who's willing to come on stage with me for a moment? All right. Okay. I'm going to grab 2 chairs here. She doesn't get applause yet. First she has to perform. Okay. Okay, so let's have a seat here. So I'm working with this client. I was working with this client who, one of the concerns that he had was that a couple of his key managers were just not doing their job. It's like, you know, they were just, according to him, they were kind of slogging through their work, you know, not really getting engaged. He was using that word very effectively. And he was just really disappointed. He was concerned that he was going to have to let one of his managers go because, you know, it felt like he was just kind of showing up. Well, one of the things that I do as an executive coach is I go in and shadow my clients occasionally. And I went in the one day and I followed Bill around for about 4 or 5 hours, right? And one of those times he was having a meeting with one of his managers. Let's call him John, okay? And John comes in and sits down like this, right? Okay? And Bill, who's, you know, really trying to engage John and everything else, you know, and John had prepared some stuff. He was supposed to be giving him some report about something, and so Bill sits down like this, and he says, okay, I'm listening. Okay, so Stephanie, share with us what's going on. Okay.
You're very creepy.
I will tell you right now, I am absolutely modeling how he sat. This is how he was listening. Okay, what's your reaction? Okay, so how much do you want to share with me your thoughts? Right? Yeah. Okay. All right. How about the rest of you? You know, what were you thinking? If I was sitting across from you like this, okay, I'm listening. I'm making eye contact, right? Okay. What signal am I really sending you?
But you're not.
And I'm not paying attention, but I am paying attention. Every fiber of my body is saying paying attention.
You're in your space.
Oh. How about a round of applause for Stephanie? I've never been told I was creepy before. Kind of cool. Now, I want to give you a little exercise that goes into the concept of gratitude even a little bit more. It's called 3 blessings, or sweet dreams is another way we can term it if you do it at night. Let me give you some context for this. Have any of you ever run a marathon? No runners in here, huh? Okay, well, no, the metaphor still works. Let me move forward with it this way. Okay, let's say that on Sunday that there was going to be a marathon run here in Cleveland, okay? And in a moment of insanity, you agree, yes, I'll run the marathon with you, Jim, okay? So you agree today to run the marathon with me, so you get up on Sunday morning. What's going to happen when you get up on Sunday morning and run 26.2 miles? You're going to die. That's right. You're going to die, okay? Because you're not in shape to run a marathon. If you wanted to run a marathon, you would have had to start 6 months ago. You can get ready to run a marathon in 6 months. What you do is you get up one morning and you walk up and down the driveway. Then you rest, okay? And you do that for like a week, and then you work up to going around the block, and you do that for a week, and then maybe you jog around, and kind of the way you get ready for a marathon is you start small and then you add 10% every week, 10% in terms of speed or distance or something like that, okay? So you have to exercise your physical muscles, right? But you can when you try. Well, it's the same thing with our emotional muscles. If you are running around at a 5 or a 6 on the happiness scale, or a 4 or a 3 for that matter, and you make a decision, tomorrow I'm going to be a 10. And you get up in the morning and you try living your life in a different emotional state than you've ever been in before, you're going to sprain something, okay? You know, your system won't know what to do with that. So you got to exercise your positive emotional muscles just as much as you got to exercise your physical muscles if you're going to go out and do some kind of an endurance event. So this exercise here is a very simple and incredibly powerful muscle building exercise, emotional muscle building exercise. Here's how it works. Every day for the next 30 days, and it doesn't even have to be every day. You know, you don't have to be perfect. It could be, as long as you're doing it at least 3 to 4 days a week, it still has the impact. Every day, you sit down and you write down, you must write it down, because it's the act of writing that makes it real, 3 good things that happened to you that day. 3 blessings that occurred, 3 things that went well. They can be little things, like, my boss paid for my coffee today. Okay. Or it could be big things, like, my sister had a healthy baby after a difficult pregnancy. Or I finally completed that project that I've been working on for 7 months. Okay? Every day, you do this. what will happen, I will tell you right now what will happen, and until you experience it, you might not believe me. After a few weeks, you're going to find yourself actually looking for things to write down at the end of the day. And guess what? Those things have always been happening, but you haven't been paying attention to them. You've just gotten used to them. What this exercise does is it opens up your eyes around what's already there and allows you to experience more happiness in the moment rather than only on reflection.